Hi everybody, it's Cash with an update on Olive's health. Thank you to everybody who wrote in inquiring about Olive. I was absolutely inundated. It's so nice of you. But what happened was I made that video, the previous one. If you didn't see it, I'll put a link to it down below because I made the video and then just as I was about to upload it, the thing happened. And so I quickly tagged the extra stuff on the end to let you know, but I didn't have time to flesh it out. And after that, I spent probably about 4 hours in the emergency room. She was very unhappy. She wailed all the way. And then when she was there, she looked absolutely terrified. In fact, the staff, the nurse said, "Boy, is she the sweetest cat ever," which is true. She is, but she was very, very frightened. And if you don't know about Olive, she was a stray. She arrived about 18 months ago while I was making a baking video for this channel, actually. She was a little kitten and just stayed. Basically, she's been in the house for a year and a half. And she has up days and down days. Being a feral cat, I spoke to a vet about this, being a feral cat, you kind of expect her to come rather like a second-hand car, comes with problems. And you never know, it could be tapeworms, it could be other really serious things. And so it seemed that Olive was fine, but she would have up and down days. And about 6 weeks ago, I told you that there was a difference overnight. It's almost like she'd eaten a bug or eaten a plant and it made her unwell. And I was worried for a couple of days and then she recovered and she was absolutely fine. And she has been fine for most of the past 6 weeks. She has down days. She eats the wrong thing and pays a price for it. But she's been mostly okay and just Olive, basically. But then over the last couple of weeks, there was a difference. Cats are so good at hiding any kind of problem they're having. You've got to be able to read the signs and see that they might be in discomfort or aching or in pain or whatever. And it wasn't obvious from Olive until the past few days when she was licking her nose or trying to a lot. And not really eating her food. She would kind of lick gravy and spit the rest out and so on. It was just odd. And she was sleeping a lot. And when she looked at you, she had that kind of migraine look, like, please don't bother me right now, I'm suffering. But you didn't quite know what was going on. And then her breath got bad. We were watching the Tonys together the other night and there was no obvious sign of a problem. But as her breath stayed bad and she was licking her nose and she was starting to salivate, clearly something was wrong. And she gave me a look that said, "Help me." And that's when I had to take her to the emergency room. And she went in. Several hours later, they reported back and they did blood tests for her. I don't know that I was expecting anything particularly bad because I don't think that way, but you never know. It could have been leukemia, somebody told me. There could be other things wrong too. But it turns out that her blood test and whatever else they did to her in the emergency room turned out to be fine. There was nothing wrong at all with her system. But I did her pictures. And the back half of her, well, the back 3/4 was fine. There was nothing particularly noticeable. But the front end had like cauliflowery clouds around it. So something was going on here. And it turns out that it was a bad tooth. She has an infection in her tooth. Now, you couldn't find this out other than by wrenching her mouth open, which is what the nurse did. It was like made me flinch, but wrenching the mouth open and peering inside. I tried to get her in for treatment and I was told, well, we can do it in July. July? We're not waiting that long. So I rang around, spent quite a few hours doing that, and now have got her in for a dental exam with a feline dentist on Monday with treatment to follow. In the meantime, I've got these, which are syringes that take the pain away. I have to give her those every 12 hours, and she's okay with that now. She's not pulling back the way she did with the first one. And then also, because she will not go into a box, I have this thing which drugs her just enough to render her defenseless when it comes to putting her in a box, and can get her into the dentist that way. So hopefully by next week, this will be sorted out and Olive will be out of pain. But the pictures were right. They were right about the cauliflowery energy. Her tooth was aching, her gum was infected. And it's a bit like having an abscess in your gum. So I guess she's going to have surgery. And you know, this cat, it reminds me of those movies where they start off and somebody, like a guy, a woman, is living a life that's really easy. Everything's great. And then the family pulls up to the Amityville house, or a shark arrives in the neighborhood. There's an inciting incident. And Olive has been my inciting incident. Everything was fine till this cat arrived. And now I have to expend energy constantly on how she's feeling, what she's eating, what she's doing, is she sleeping enough. But she's an absolute delight. And as the nurse at the emergency room said, she is just the cutest thing. So wonderful. And she is. So she's worth it. But there were moments there where I did think Olive might have something a little bit more serious than what appeared. But she hopefully is going to be fine this coming week. All right, but thank you again for all your lovely messages. And I got emails, I got texts, people writing to me. Yeah, there was a bit of concern there, and I think it's going to work out okay. Is Olive going to be okay? Yeah, there you go. Muscle testing. It'll be fine. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. I will be back on Saturday. If there are any developments, I'll tell you then. But otherwise, thank you very much. Goodbye.